The end of March, Mr. Secretary, you said you hope to avoid a trade war with China. In that period of time, the Chinese have put retaliatory tariffs on $50 billion of U.S. goods. And the president last night threatened an additional tariffs on an additional $100 billion of U.S. goods. Is this now a trade war, Mr. Secretary?
No, it's not. And our objective is still not to be in a trade war with them. But let me be perfectly clear. President Trump has been from day one very clear on we are going to defend free and fair trade. And a year ago at Mar-a-Lago, President Trump and President Xi discussed trade. We've been working with them over the last year. And on the one hand, we're willing to continue negotiations. On the other hand, the president is absolutely prepared to defend our interests.
Mr. Secretary, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal on the 26th of March that said there were quiet negotiations going on. Today, a Chinese official said it's absolutely wrong that there are negotiations going on behind the scenes, and Larry Kudlow said negotiations haven't begun yet. I wonder if you could square that circle for us. Are negotiations going on, and how are those negotiations going if the two things that I just mentioned just happened, which is the retaliatory tariffs and threat of additional tariffs from the president?
Well, let me just put this in perspective. So we've been very clear the 301 has been in the works for a long period of time. We're very clear the $50 billion on potential tariffs that we put on 301, that's about 10% of the goods that we buy from them. It's $500 billion of goods. China responded with $50 billion against us. We think that was unfairly targeting our industries. That's 38% of what they buy from us. So as a result of that, the president responded with potentially another $100 billion. So on the one hand, as I said, we are willing to negotiate. We are in communication with them regularly. I'm not going to comment on the specifics of the negotiations.
If you say we're willing to negotiate, are you saying we're not yet negotiating on these topics? As you know, Mr. Secretary, this is of critical importance to the markets here, which are down 332 points, in part based on these this latest trade comments from the president. So is there negotiations going on right now? Have they been going on behind the scenes, or have they not been going on?
Again, what I'd say, I want to be careful because, again, anytime you're negotiating, obviously we're not going to do this and lay out our negotiations in the public domain. So, you know, I am in communications. I'm not going to comment on where we are in negotiations. You know that the vice premier came here last month and we had discussions. Again, let me just be clear in that President Trump is actively involved in these discussions with me and Ambassador Lighthizer and others. On the one hand, we absolutely are willing to negotiate and not get into trade wars. But on the other hand, the president is perfectly willing to defend interests. So this is a very clear strategy.
Understood.
And we also announced yesterday, as it relates to agriculture, we're going to protect our farmers. So the president has instructed Secretary Perdue to work with the rest of the cabinet. We will protect our farmers from unfair targeting.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.